my slam time. Gonna bust up your behind. This is my slam time. Gonna mess up your whole mind. This is my slam time. Gonna bust up your behind. This is my slam time. Gonna mess up your whole mind.
Welcome to Work the Left Side. Hyped to announce tonight's guest. I'm joined by Brad Matthews. How are you doing, dude? You good?
I'm doing well. I'm really well, thanks. How are you getting on?
5x5, dude. I'm all good. As I always say, too blessed to be stressed is my new catchphrase. So I'm going to keep saying that until I make a t-shirt of it, I think. But dude, thank you so much for joining us. It feels nice to be, if I'm not talking to people from Pursuit, I'm not talking to people from Future Shock. House of Pain seems to be my secondary home at the minute. There's a lot of people recently from there. So yeah, really happy to be talking to yourself as well. Obviously, I spoke to Franco recently, who I know you know very well as being a part of the team.
Yeah. Got a lot of time for Franco. One of the best people I've met through wrestling, to be honest. And what's crazy is we were actually involved in the hardcore music scene at roughly the same time, but we didn't know each other. So we were probably in the same rooms, like kicking the shit out of each other in mosh pits back in the day, and then now we kick the shit out of other people in the ring.
See, it's that common interest, that common bond. That's awesome. So, because again, I know. Well, I'm going to say, would you have just been there as a fan? Were you in a band at any point? Have you been in front of a live audience in other means besides wrestling?
Yeah. So the two constants in my life have been heavy music and wrestling. So I was in bands from being 12 years old up until about 2015. No, probably a bit earlier than that. Probably about 2013. So yeah, being in front of a crowd's never bothered me. But then I was also involved in it. Like I was massively obsessed with just going to every gig that I could go to, and so I spent a lot of time traveling up and down the country, just going to all sorts of gigs and festivals, and then I got into music journalism, did a load of stuff for publications, ran my own when I lived in Australia for a bit, and yeah, it's all just. I think it might maybe it's the aggression. This is why I like this and like wrestling and heavy music, and then I played rugby as well. That's aggressive as heck. So,
dude, the triple threat of just aggro. But yeah, definitely the music thing. Like you sort of said, I've spoken to a few people, that have been in bands before they got to wrestling, and I was kind of like, because I always kind of think, if I was in your shoes, if I wasn't just a fan sat on this side, how I would kind of feel just being, walking out behind the curtain down the ramp, just knowing whether it be 100 people, 200 people, 1,000 people, just everybody looking at you kind of thing. Then that would be the thing that just makes my tummy go, not sure yet kind of thing. But obviously, yeah, people I know that have been in a band just drink it up, soak it in. It's nothing new to them kind of thing. So you don't have to worry about that as you're learning, to be a wrestler.
Yeah, 100%. So when I had my first match, I wasn't worried about being out in front of people. Like the idea of being out there in pants and special boots was a bit weird, but I was just thinking about the match rather than being out in front of people. And a lot of people who haven't performed in bands or theatre or dance or whatever, they've also got that to contend with. So, and I think a lot of people would be lying if they said they don't get nerves, but you just know how to control them, and it's nowhere near as big of a thing as it is for someone who doesn't have that experience.
That's it. You kind of, you're used to it, aren't you? Kind of thing. You find it in a calm. Yeah, you're still nervous, but that comes with just the excitement, having the match itself, kind of thing. But yeah, it's one less thing to worry about, I suppose. So I always think it's really cool, especially as well, like depending on how you were in the band. I've spoken to Isaac North, who was a bassist, and bassists are the fucking mentalist on the stage, bouncing around everywhere, so you kind of used to being playing up to the audience, being dramatic, kind of just, you know, amping them up. So that's another thing as well. If you're in a band, I mean, if you're just stood there playing guitar, it's a little bit like, okay, the energy's not there. But if you were energetic in the band, mate, you just know how to work that audience.
Yeah. I actually played drums, so I was very rarely hyping the crowd. Although I did a couple of times, jumped from behind the kit, grabbed the mic, and started trying to hype the crowd up. Usually I'd be initiating a wall of death at that point. But yeah, like just going mad, windmilling and everything while I was playing. Like, it's just, you're putting on a show, like, make it interesting to watch.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm just going to sidebar quickly, just into something totally. I've got a 6-year-old who started drumming lessons about 2 months ago. So I'm just like, you know, every week I go with him to his drumming lessons, and he sat there and he's like learning the stuff. It's just very, I'm living vicariously through him at the minute. I was like, yes, keep going. You will be an awesome
drummer. Wait till he asks him for Christmas and they're in the living room.
I'm waiting, dude. I'm like, we'll see how it goes. 2 more months. Like, right, you know. And I've had a few people offer me some. So, I've got some drums, you know, if you want them. I'm like, not just yet. I might take you up on it at some point. Not yet. I just got to buy some egg cartons and put them on the fucking wall or something. You know, try and soundproof the house as much as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, drums very, very cool, dude. The guy who runs our Instagram account, Ash, he'll probably drop you a message tomorrow when this gets uploaded on Instagram just to check everything's all right. Dude, you're ticking all of his boxes. You know, he's a he used to play drums, loves the music. Been around to his house, and he's got like framed drumsticks on his wall of different famous drummers. So yeah, I'm sure he might he'll instigate a conversation with you tomorrow, I'm sure, about drumming at least.
Cool.
So yeah, anyway, let's tick the generic box. Obviously I mentioned House of Pain, you know, at the start of the episode. But what was it made you? Was that your first port of call? Is that where you started sort of training, or did you dip your toes in elsewhere first, or what made you start training?
So when I was in school, I wanted to be a wrestler, and I told my careers advisor that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a rock star or a pro wrestler, and the guy's name was Mr. Wilson, and he told me that was a stupid idea and I could never be a pro wrestler. And me being the type of kid that I kind of just took. Well, no, I didn't do that. No, I was like, gosh, okay. Yeah, so I didn't even know wrestling existed in the UK for years and years and years, but I always wanted to do it. And eventually, like, I didn't know House of Pain was a thing, despite it being 11 miles from my house. Obviously, like, the internet wasn't what it is now. Back in the mid 2000s, early and 2010s, but eventually someone that I knew from school who had moved closer to Nottingham, he was having his first match, and I'm like, what? There's wrestling around here. And then, but I was, at the time, I was just about to move to Australia. So I did that. I almost started training there. But then stuff happened and I ended up being in Germany. And so I nearly started at WXW, and then I moved back home. Those moves were all in a short space of time, turbulent personal life stuff. And then I was like, right, let's do this fucking wrestling thing. Where's this Nottingham one? Right, House of Pain. That was it. I say that was it. I did a few sessions. Then after one session, I decided to do something stupid on the floor, knackered my back up, and then just didn't go back for a year. Then I think it was May the 1st, 2018 was when I went back, and that's when I properly started training. Yeah. So to be told that that's something that I should never ever try and that I could never do, and then I seem to be all right at it. Like,
yeah, mate, that's it. You know what I mean? You're getting the bookings. You're doing you're working consistently. You are, yeah. I think Mr. Wilson can go swivel.
Yeah,
he obviously didn't know what he was talking about. So there we go, Mr. Wilson. That one's for you. But yeah, obviously, like I say, so you're based. Are you based in Nottingham or around the Nottingham area at the minute?
Around Nottingham. I live in the next county over. I live in Derbyshire at the minute, but I'm moving into Nottingham. Sure, I bought a house there and I'm doing it up, and I'm going to move in there when it's renovated.
Yeah. See, so I have just instinctively booed when you said Derbyshire. I do apologise. But yeah, it's obviously it moves you closer to there and moves you closer to Rock City and other cool things around Nottingham. So. It's obviously a house of pain. Then when you're getting into there, you sort of starting because that's the thing. I think I've spoken to so many people, and it's like you sort of say, you grow up as a wrestling fan, you're watching like WWE or TNA or WCW, depending on age, GCW. But yeah, you're not really aware that there's a scene in Britain, because like I said, the internet's not a massive thing. There wasn't that much of the social media, and then when you find out, it's like, oh, okay, this is something you can get into. And that's what I said. Yeah, I've spoken to a few people from House of Pain now, and dude, that school is just absolutely churning out. The talent. Obviously, before you got there, guys like Joseph Connors would have gone through kids. Obviously, I've spoken to like obviously Joey Slade.
Yeah.
Adam Bolt, ZZ, Sash, obviously Franco, Styx himself. Yeah, man, that's. If you're going to do it anywhere, that's one of the top 5 for me to, step in.
Yeah. The talent that has been either produced there from like they took their first bump there, or they started somewhere else and then moved to House of Pain, and that completely changed the kind of trajectory of their wrestling career. Is the list's really long. And then obviously Joe started his own school in Leicester, now moved up to Loughborough Elevation. Same there, like some of the people there that are coming through are fantastic, and I think that they're like, if in time there's going to be a list of people coming out of there that are just as good. Styx and Joe are just both phenomenal trainers.
That's it. The pedigree's there, isn't it? Kind of thing. You kind of got the. He knows what he's doing because he was taught very well. So now he's teaching very well. It's just passing it on and passing it on. Which I've sort of said. I've always sort of said. British wrestling at the minute, for me, again, I always invite people to have a conversation with me in the comments if you want. But British wrestling is the best at the moment that it's ever been. Purely because you've got the guys from. When it was, I don't know, the peak like 10 years ago, like your Styxes, your RJs, Connors, Kirby's, Rampagers, all those guys, they're now training. And the guys they trained are now training.
Yeah.
And it's just like a wealth of information or a wealth of knowledge just being passed on and passed on. So, yeah, dude, I think you're involved in a very, very good time. So hopefully you guys feel that as well. You feel that energy.
Yeah, it does. It definitely feels like it. And I was having a chat with a few people less than a week ago. A bunch of the names that you've just mentioned, within the next 5 years, they're probably going to decide, like I've had enough, and they're going to hang it up in terms of in-ring stuff. And so there's going to be all of these spots opening up for the younger guys to become, to go up a level. So there's. Just like whenever, not everyone, but just like when a load of people went to NXT UK and that had a load of spots, that left a load of spots in the British scene. I think the same is going to happen just from the passing of time, in within the next 5 or so years. So it's potentially a really exciting time to be a wrestler because there's going to be so many more places to work. That's not me saying I want them to leave because I want to wrestle them all and learn from them.
That's it. Yeah, pick the brain where you can. Even when they've hung up the boots, I'm sure they'll turn up. They'll do seminars. They'll still be there, just giving that knowledge kind of thing. Because I kind of get the impression it's not business you walk away from. I mean, ask RJ. I'm sure. I think he's retired like 10 times, for God's sake. It's just not that kind of business you can walk away from. It's just like you kind of step away and then you kind of pulled back in again. I can only imagine, the adrenaline when you guys, come out the curtain, go down to the ramp. I say, regardless of how many people are there, just that. If you could bottle it, you'd be a millionaire. That adrenaline, that buzz.
Yeah, 100%. There's not really anything like it. It's why so many people in entertainment have substance issues, because once you walk away from it, I mean, with wrestling it's a bit different, but you know, the artists that are on tour and then they're just off tour and then they've got nothing that replicates that, it's difficult. It's the same with retirement. That's why a lot of people stick around. But then a lot of people then do similar to what Styx is doing now, where he gets his buzz from putting on the shows and training people. I mean, he has for ages anyway, but like that's what he's focusing on. So he can still be involved, still have a positive impact on wrestling, but he just doesn't have to take any bumps.
That's it. It's the best of both worlds, really. You know, he gets to stand behind the curtain, soak it all in, knowing that I did this, and then be able to wake up the next morning and stretch without making a funny noise. I presume.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, when you started, when you first got to House of Pain, what was your first impression? Obviously, I spoke to Brandon, last week, Brandon Brooks, and he sort of said, like, when he first saw Styx, he was like, nope. He's like, no, I'll talk to the guy. Like, obviously, he's only quite young at the age, but it must be quite daunting when you first walk in there, because it looks, from what I've seen of House of Pain, the training facility, it looks like a performance center. It looks like, the fucking bee's knees. So as soon as you walk in, it must just be like.
It is now. When I started, it was at 2 venues before. So where it is at the minute, before then it was at a church, in a big church hall, or former church hall. But then before that, it was on a little industrial estate in what is essentially like a mechanic's garage. So which was so small that they had to take bricks out of the walls in order to fit the ring in. So it was just this dark, dingy place, and like you parked up. It was horrendous parking around there. I'm so glad he moved. And then you had to walk down the side of this building, down this slope, which was always just muddy, and there was just fucking shitloads of tires and car parts everywhere. And then you went up these rickety stairs to get into the building. There was a toilet there that didn't work properly. It was just like proper shit, but like it was kind of part of the charm. And yeah, it was kind of intimidating, but it wasn't the first time I'd been in there. A couple of years before, I'd been asked to go to a video shoot for a friend of a friend's band, and they performed in the ring, and like we were moshing around the ring, doing circle pits around, and there was wrestling happening. It was Jukin versus TJ Dean, or is now known as TJ Dean, wrestling while they were playing this song about dead wrestlers. It was a thrash band. So wow. Yeah, I was like, oh, I've been here before.
That's a story to be told. You're like, yeah, I've been here before. I know this. What? Oh, yeah, we watched around the ring. All right, fair enough. Yep, fit right in. Come on in. So basically, you've seen it evolve from where it started to where it is now, then, kind of thing. So, dude, that's awesome. So obviously, you're stepping in for you go into the training. You have any kind of idea of how you want it to work? Obviously people go in to learn the basics. They learn the fundamentals first. That's important. But once you've got that down, then you can start experimenting. Did you kind of go in there? So obviously some people want to do all the high flying stuff. They want to do this. All the people go in and be like, right, I want to be the next Dean Malenko. I just love that ground and pound, technical side of stuff. Did you have any inspiration of what you wanted to be, or did you just go in and see, let's see what fits?
I knew the wrestlers that I liked, and I didn't really know how I wanted to wrestle necessarily, because a lot of the wrestlers that I liked were all quite different. Like I really liked, like my all-time favorite is Triple H, but then I also like people like Owen Hart, Mr. Perfect, also all very good wrestlers. And at the time I was a massive fan of Jeff Hardy and Matt, and I like the high flyers, I like the cruiserweights, which is weird because I don't like that as much now. I also used to massively like some of the kind of some of the indie wrestlers. Like I used to really like some of the deathmatch wrestlers from early 2000s. I was like, oh, you know, maybe I could be some kind of hybrid of all of these. But then as soon as I got in there, I just did what felt natural. And then I realized that the high flying just, it wasn't for me. Like I don't mind doing the odd bit, but yeah, it was just, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't deliberately chase a style, because straight away I just started to just think, well, if I do what's natural, it's probably going to come across as more authentic, more natural. So my style was pretty much straight away pretty brawly with slight bits of techie bits, but not a lot.
Like I say, you just go in and you see what fits. You can try a bit of this, try a bit of that. You try it. No, I didn't like it. No, body don't agree with it. Not happening. You just go in. You, like I said, it feels more genuine. You know what I mean? And that's what the fans pick up on. So if you're working as you would work and it's genuine, you come across as being more genuine. The fans connect with you more, or you know, they'll boo or cheer as they should do, kind of thing. So it's just, I say, I'm always curious as to how people find the style. You know, kind of like, you know, if sometimes you can just, some people go in and they're adamant, they're like, right, I want to work this style, and they will fucking force themselves. You know, they will make their body work that style, and other people are just like, I'll see what happens. You know, I say, if the glove fits, I'll work that.
Yeah, and the character that you're portraying, I think, also affects that as well. So I knew straight away how I wanted to be, because it was just an extension of myself. So the moves that I would do, or the moves that I would choose, and the way I would move people around and stuff was very much just, it would have to fit that style. Like I could see people doing cool things, and we'd get taught some nifty things. And I'm like, I just wouldn't do that. If this was real, I would not be doing that. I'd rather do this thing, you know. But so yeah.
Whatever you feel, whatever comes across as being genuine for you, whatever comes across, what comes naturally, kind of thing. Because that's another thing as well. You know, you pick the character first and then pick the moveset, or do you pick the moveset and then pick the character? Whereas to me, it's like you sort of said, you work on the character, and then the moves come afterwards. The moves fit the character. Like so I said, it's just, what would the character do? How would the character do this? You have to base the moves on that.
I think it depends on the it depends on the person, because I just felt very, very natural in there. I felt like this is where I can essentially be me with the volume turned up, whereas some people, so then it was like, it was a bit, some people are very different. Some people, they need a completely different, like they kind of morph into someone else, or they need this thing that it's not them, it's the character. And so then it's all a different way of looking at it. But yeah,
that's the thing about wrestling. I think it all works. You know, there's no right way. There's all different ways of doing it. There's a right way to do it, how you want to do it, but there's so many different ways of. You've got so many different options. It's just like I said, it's whatever fits, kind of thing. Whatever feels natural. Yeah, if you want to be just a total separation, like, you know, like when I'm in the ring, it's not me. I'm freaking, you know, this character. You know, that works as well. It's just whatever you feel natural doing. The rugby thing, I'm guessing that came in handy though.
I don't know. I've never really incorporated anything from rugby into wrestling.
I just meant, like, you know, just the physicalness, the contact, the bumps.
Yeah. Like I think I must have a higher pain. I think we all must have a higher pain tolerance than the general public, because this fucking hurts. Rugby hurts. You know, you're getting the shit kicked out of you. So, but yeah, I think having that background, I played in my teens and I played at university. So yeah, I think that definitely, what's the word? Definitely kind of made me able to take punishment and take bumps.
It toughens you up.
Yeah.
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 We'll agree with that. I'm not a massive rugby fan, but I respect the hell out of what they do, and I know how tough they are to play the game. So yeah, it's definitely gonna give you an edge, I think, in just training, like sort of say, just being able to take a bump or practice a few different things, and your body's like, just another day. So
Yeah.
I'm going to mention, obviously, because we sponsor them, and I clocked the poster recently, and I made a little funny noise of excitement. You are on the next True Grit show in York. You are on the poster. Sash is always also on there, but I'll come to that in a bit. You're looking forward to, obviously, you was at True Grit last year. I think you was at York show again, about the same time last year, wasn't it? You was in a tag team scramble match with Sash, actually talking about him. You excited to be back?
Yes, yeah, I definitely am. Yeah, last year I replaced Sash's tag partner Gallus. He'd picked up an injury. Luckily, it wasn't a serious one, but it was enough that he couldn't do the show. And because I'd made myself known to JC through various things, when Sash said I've got a couple of replacements, JC was like, "Is one of them Brad?" So yeah, cool, bring him along. I'm like, yep. I'll have a fight. That's cool. But no, to be back at True Grit is very cool. It's one of my favorite places in the UK. The production is great. The stories are great. I even when I'm not on the show and I'm just there in a different capacity, always feel welcome. So to be back and able to actually wrestle and do it at that place is cool. And I'd love to wrestle their Leeds venue. So JC, we can sort something out.
Yeah, I'll keep chirping at him as well, Come on, especially as well because he uses Sash quite a lot. He used Franco on the last show. I see you're there now. I mean, to me, you three guys, you're a faction that could be run. You guys could run roughshod over a few different promotions. JC's just, turned heel. He might need some protection. He might give Sash a bit of cash, but you guys can be JC's, muscle.
Yeah, we could be. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know 100% what the future holds, but whatever it is, I'm pretty sure it's going to be cool. And I'm definitely looking forward to it. Any time that I can spend time with Sash and Franco is great. And I'm buzzing for whatever happens.
I saw the poster. I looked at the poster, looked at all the talent that was on there, clocked you. I'm one of those annoying fans. I'll just start fantasy booking it, be like, oh, that person's on the poster. That person's on the poster. Oh, what if they had a match? Oh, what if they had a match? That'd be cool. And I'm just like, oh, Brad. Hopefully, anybody else banging match, I just hope you don't go up against Kemper, because I'll just be like, no, I want to cheer on Brad. I want to cheer on Kemper. No. And Kemper did your boy Franco dirty at the last show. So I'm thinking, it kind of might follow on. I don't know. We'll just have to wait. I'll wait patiently until the match graphic is announced. But yeah, hopefully, we see you there on a regular basis. I mean, yeah, you could leave a mark and just, Sash is going to need a bit of help against music, I think. So, as soon as you're there, I won't be surprised,
I don't know whether Sash will need any help against Vucic, but,
There's loyalty, mate, and then there's honest. Sash is good. I'll big him up. He is very good at what he does. But Vucic is, I've got my top 5, and unfortunately that boy's in it. So it'll be a good match regardless. We'll see.
Oh yeah.
So talking of, since we're bringing up Sash and everything, I brought him up anyway, as I always do, because I'm a big dosser, or Hobag as he calls me. Weekend just gone. Obviously, Sash had a match against Rory Davies, and you ended up getting. Rory got physical with you.
Yeah. So Rory and Sash have had this pretty bitter rivalry at Elevation, and Rory didn't wait for the bell, decided to just attack Sash on his entrance. And while I've been out, I've also been helping at Elevation, being on the door, helping with merch, that sort of thing. And so Rory decided to grab Sash, throw him over the merch table, knocked everything everywhere. So I went over to just try and clear a bit of space and try and guide them away from all of the products. That's where the money is.
As you would do, yeah.
Yeah. And Rory decided that it was going to push me on my arse. So obviously I'm not cleared. I'm cleared to wrestle a few places, but I'm not on the active roster at Elevation at the minute. So I felt like doing something, but I couldn't. So yeah, it pissed me off.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It sounds very very heelish as well. I'm just a bit like, well, hang on a minute. This is but yeah, when you do obviously return back to, when you get back on the active roster at Elevation, I'm sure that will be addressed. I'm sure at a future Elevation show. Yeah, you can have a word with Rory and just tell him it was not cool.
Yeah. I think I might. I've not decided yet. I mean, I might let it go. I might bring it up. I don't know.
Ah, dude, come on. I'm not buying that for a second. There's no way you are letting that go. I'm not having that at all. You mentioned the injury. Obviously, like you sort of saying, you're doing this, that, and helping out at Elevation on merch and stuff while injured. When I was looking through stuff, Spinebuster popped up a few times. I know you're working like doing the Spinebuster stuff and doing commentary. How did you find the commentary side of things?
I really enjoyed it, to be honest. It's something that I've always thought is a massive part of pro wrestling, because if you watch wrestling on mute, it's not quite the same. And Andy and the rest of the guys at Spinebuster, I mean, mainly Andy, they were pretty high on me. So they wanted to keep me involved. So to be given that opportunity to do the commentary on all of the on all of the kind of behind closed doors shows was really cool, and also got to meet a lot of people there that I wouldn't have met otherwise. And then he was obviously happy with what I did on the first one to keep booking me for the other ones, and then done a lot where they've had the live shows or they've filmed matches at other places and then said, look, Brad, can you do commentary for this. So it's been great. It's also allowed me to rethink about how I approach stuff as a wrestler, because I'd never thought about stuff from a commentary perspective necessarily before, but have been in that position now. I'm like, okay, so here we need that time to get this point across or that point across, or at this point they're probably going to be talking about this thing, so let's either do this or not do this or move in a certain way, just that sort of thing.
That's cool. That's something. Again, I've spoken to I've had commentators on, I've had referees on, I've had cameramen on. I talk to everybody involved in every aspect, kind of thing. So I think everything, obviously, it's all part of the big machine.
Yeah.
Commentary is something that I think is quite easy to overlook, but it's so pivotal. It's so iconic, kind of thing. I think, obviously, different generations. If you grew up watching WWE, I'm of the age where JR and Paul Heyman, that's like my favorite commentary team, kind of thing, from the early noughts. Without them, a commentator, it's like the same as I would say about a ref. A commentator can make a 3-star match, a 5-star match while you're watching it, you're listening to it, and yeah, that's cool, because obviously as a wrestler, then you kind of got that side of being like, right, hang on a minute, if I allow like an extra second or an extra 2 seconds between moves, that'll give the commentator more chance or more time to sell what I've just done.
Yeah. So the first time Spinebuster filmed me was December 2022, and I happened to be on the card. They were there to film like a ZZ match, basically, but they decided to film the whole card. It was House of Pain at Beeston, and Andy came up to me afterwards or messaged me or something. We've had multiple conversations about it since then. It was like, mate, I've never seen you before, but you're so good to film, because you let things breathe. You're not there staring at the camera, but you can see that you're looking for the camera, and then you see it in your peripheral, and then you wait, and it's just so good as a videographer to be able to, to not have to chase you or whatever. And so so like that's really important, as well as waiting for the commentators as well. So I mean, if people think I'm boring in the ring, they're probably going to think I'm even more boring when I come back, because I'm going to take even longer. But the way I see it, it's more chance for you to go, wow, fellow wrestling fan, did you see that? Yeah.
It's not boring, it's methodical.
Yes, thinking man's wrestler, that's what I am.
Exactly. You're taking the time to soak it all in. You're taking the time to enjoy the punishment you audition out to people. And it's frozen again. Oh, dude, rather than me.
We are.
You're back. That's right. That's cool. That's fine. I can easily just call that bit out. That's fine. I'll just put the old school picture of the clown and the late little girl with all the colours of it. Technical issue. There we go. Again, showing my age. Fucking hell. But yeah, like I said, it's just having that kind of knowledge. It just helps, because, like I said, it's not just obviously, you're putting on a show for the people there in the audience. But especially, with the social media stuff now, with on demand, with YouTube channels, promotions, put like matches on with commentary, the wider fan base will all enjoy your matches more, because the commentators are getting a chance to just freaking emote and be excited about it, or go into detail about what you're doing, sell the story.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier about the commentators making a 3-star match a 5-star match, and you are correct. Like if you've got someone doing golf commentary over perhaps an exciting part of the match, it just makes it seem a bit naff. And when I look at some of the doing commentary live is so much different as well from doing it afterwards. But I watch back some of the matches, some of the earlier matches I did the commentary for, and I don't sound bored, but I don't sound as excited as I should be. And I'd sent matches to people. I don't know if they want me to name them, but big commentators, big announcers, and they were nice enough to watch it and give me feedback. And that was a big part. Like, you need to be the conduit of excitement for the fans.
Definitely. I've said that to referees before. That's kind of something you put on the refs when you're there in person. The ref kind of has to sell a bump. If they do a bump at the start, they basically say, somebody hits the finisher, the ref jumps off the fucking ring right, blah, blah, blah. So that's the thing. The commentator is that connection between the fans at home and the wrestlers. Like, you can't get over it. You can't be excited for every move, because we'll be like, where the hell do we go from here? So your excitement got to go up with the match, kind of thing. Yeah.
And the fans might not know that this move's never been kicked out of, or they might not know that this is the other person's finishing move, or that someone's had a history of neck problems or knee problems or whatever. There's so much that goes into wrestling, and the commentators are there putting the lyrics to that music.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly that's a perfect analogy. I said, what's going on in the ring is amazing. It's like it's a music. It's like an orchestra, and then you put lyrics on top of it, and that's what the commentators do. You mentioned the injury. Obviously, you're all right now. How long? What was it? I don't want to ask too much, but in case it was a really bad injury, or but you're okay now. You like you said, you are back and you're ready to go.
Yeah. So. It was July last year. I was wrestling at the Rock and Ribs Festival in Somerset, and Mega Slam had been asked to put on the show, and I was, I was asked to go down there, and it was the first match of the entire show, the entire weekend, and so it was never told anyone this before because we were a team, but it was me versus Franco, and it was the first time that we'd ever wrestled each other in a singles match. So we were like, okay, this is going to be fun, and it was legitimately one of the loudest crowds I have ever wrestled in front of, to the point where I was this far away from Franco's head at some point, and I shouted something at him, and he said, "You what?" He couldn't hear me, and I was inches from his face. It was incredible. And basically, I went up to the top rope to do a missile dropkick on him because it's pretty much the only thing I could do that's going to knock him off his feet. And I thought he was coming closer to me, and so I started to jump. I realized he wasn't. He was just kind of staggering, and I was like, okay, this is not ideal. So I tried to land on my feet in midair, and I did, but obviously didn't land quite right. The knee just went from under me, and I was like, shit. So the ref came over, and he was like, "Are you all right?" And typical fucking wrestler. I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Tried to stand up, could not stand up, and I was like, no, I'm fucked. I just remember saying I'm fucked a few times. I'm glad you could say I could swear on this, but yeah. So the match, I won the match. I still won the match. Franco picked me up. We got into some kind of position where I low blowed him with the bad leg, which fucking killed, because I couldn't stand on my right leg, which is the one that had gone. So I was stood on the left leg, and then did the Ric Flair low blow when you got the ref in the corner.
Yeah.
Which
Ooh,
it hurt so much doing that, and it probably didn't quite connect, but obviously did enough. And so that was how I did it. The medics on the site, my knee swelled up massively, and the medics on the site said it would be fine. The swelling would just go down, and there was nothing to worry about. So I believed them.
As you would, yeah.
And then I rested it for a month, and then wrestled at Kumite, me and Franco versus Brett Semtex and Lou Nixon, and didn't knock the knee at all or anything. Like it was dead stiff. I had to do loads to it to get it to work properly. But then the day after, it had just swollen up again to the size it was when I did it, and I was like, something's really not right here. So I got it checked out, and they were like, yeah, we think you've torn your ACL. You might have done something else as well. So yeah, that was it. MRI scan confirmed it, and then had the surgery, and they said I'd be out for 12 months. It's been just less than 12 months, but yeah.
Dude, fucking hell. So long haul then, kind of thing. Like I said, yeah, you're talking fucking. So it's giving you a chance to, like you say, work other areas of the business then, kind of. But like I say, you're back. So stupid question. I'm going to ask you. Obviously, glad to be back. You know, you getting back in that ring, getting to work off like a year's worth of fucking pent up anger and frustration.
Yeah, because I mean, not only have I not been able to wrestle, I've not been able to mosh. When I go to shows, I have to stand at the back like an old git. Well, I am now, but but no, yeah, it's wicked to be back. I've been back training at House of Pain and Elevation since June, and it's been super cool. And then I did my return in front of a crowd a couple of weeks ago at House of Pain. My first match as we record this is tomorrow, which is a Friday night, but as you are probably listening to this or watching this, it's already happened. It was great. I won. It was the best match ever. 10 stars, says Meltzer.
Dave raved about it.
So really buzzing for that. And like you say, I've got True Grit, I've got other companies that are that have got me booked for stuff. So I've got this return, and then I'm fucking off to Australia for a couple of weeks in October. So that's like loads of companies are like, well, we'll just wait till November to bring you back and stuff like that. They're like, I was talking to Rain Leverkusen about it, because she did a similar, almost the same injury in a very similar way, and she's also been doing stuff to remain involved in wrestling whilst not being able to wrestle. She said she described it really well. It was like, you really want a dairy milk, you really want a Cadbury's Dairy Milk or a Galaxy or something, like some proper top quality chocolate, but all you're giving is shitty Easter egg chocolate. It's just not the same.
50p advent calendar chocolate.
Hey,
50p advent calendar chocolate.
Yeah. Although I'm saying that, but with what I've done over the time that I've been off, I think I'm coming back to wrestling with a better mindset, for a better approach to stuff. I've networked pretty much consistently. I think I'm probably more of an asset to a company now, and I've kept myself relevant. I've just kept working, and like I said, trying to make myself more worthwhile to promoters, and yeah, I think it's probably been better for me in terms of my wrestling career than it would have been to just keep going out there bumping for a year.
Oh, definitely. I mean, obviously, pros and cons both ways round. But like I say, even when we were just talking about the commentary side of things, you've learned that. You've kind of learned, to give an extra second here, an extra second there, and in the ring, knowing how the business works. Like I said, from everyone I've ever spoken to, on this show, networking is key. That's one of the most important things you can do in wrestling. You could be the best in the world, but if nobody knows you, you're not going to get booked, kind of thing. You need to get your face out there. You need to get talking to people. You need to show people, just who you are, kind of thing. So if even in the last 12 months you haven't been in the ring, but you've been able to network, that's huge.
Yeah. Like just going to different places and just it's the cliche of go to a show and help out. And I think because people knew I was injured and I wasn't just trying to turn up with my gear and get crowbarred onto the show, I was there because I wanted to be there legitimately, because I love wrestling. So yeah, it definitely works. And like you said, it's not necessarily what you know in this world, it's who you know. And yeah.
Yeah, especially in wrestling. I know in other factors as well, but again, from people I've spoken to, it's just, that seems to be the common thread of, that's the best advice anybody can give anyone, is like, just network, just get to know people. But you mentioned this will be uploaded tomorrow morning. It's now Thursday, so it'll be uploaded on Friday morning. You have a show as we are watching this now tonight.
Yes.
Where's it at and who's it against?
So if you are watching it on Friday morning, it is at the Reneth Miners Welfare Club in Reneth, which is near Mansfield in Nottinghamshire. I'm not going to say who I'm against, because I've just signed an open agreement to wrestle. So I'll not.
Yeah, no. No spoilers. But
I'm going to be there. I've got my trunks. I'll fight someone.
We'll see who turns up, who's ready to. That's the thing as well, though, Ben. It's going to have to be a very either very brave or very stupid person that's been like, Brad's been out for 12 months. He's just coming back. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to be the first person he unleashes on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, the first person that tasted some wrath was Grayson Clay a couple of weeks ago at the House of Pain Beeston show. And he's there tomorrow, tonight, if you're watching it on Friday, but he's got a match, but I'll be interested to see what happens in that one.
Ah, dude, I just hyped for you, man. I'm just imagining. Like I said, you had you got to have a little bit of event a couple of weeks ago, but this is going to be like, the in front of the audience. It's just like totally glad to have you back, kind of thing. So yeah, man, I was hyped. I'm going to rewind back a few years. I was kind of like to get. Obviously, you've been training at House of Pain. you're getting better, you're getting better, you're getting better. You work in, like the safety net of the House of Pain shows. That first booking outside of House of Pain, can you remember it? Can you remember that moment of being like, oh shit, somebody's trusting me with a spot on their card? Yes.
It's in here. I've got a little notebook with every single match that I've had, all 217 of them.
Nice.
So, you know what? I can't remember off the top of my head what company it was for. Right. Okay. So this one wasn't really a booking, but my third match was for Mega Slam because I drove Styx and Tommy Taylor to the venue and they put me in a rumble. But my first actual booking proper, as in they wanted me on the show, fucking hell, it was Elevation. Elevation. It was my 15th match.
Nice.
I got eliminated from a rumble there by Saxon Huxley.
Oh wow.
I remember being shit scared because this was a roster of people that I didn't know, and I knew a couple of them, but the majority of them I didn't know. They didn't know me. And then Joe, it turned out that I was there with Saxon, and I'm like, fucking hell. Because I'm not sure if NXT UK had started then. When was it? May 2019. Of course it had.
Yeah.
So, I was like, this is mad. He's going to kill me.
He's a big boy as well. Like,
Yeah.
you're a big boy. I'm like, just like, wow. That's just, but yeah, Saxon's intense, shall I say. I've seen him a few times, obviously at Rise and True Grit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just imagine very solid. Very much like a throwback to your rugby days. I can just imagine just shoulders colliding and heads banging.
Yeah, because it was very much like that. Because in rugby, I was one of the backs because I was a smaller guy compared to everyone else. So yeah, for forward, if I was running through and a forward took me out, it was like getting shoulder tackled by Saxon and splat.
Dude, flashbacks. So yeah, I mean, I could, from speaking to people, kind of living vicariously through you guys, but just the excitement of that booking, that just somebody knows who I am, somebody thinks I'm good enough to give me a spot on the show. That must just be unreal.
Yeah, it's
validation.
I still get it now when a new promotion asks me, or when the promotions that I worked for said, dude, we've seen your videos, we want you back. Like, it's validation. It's like, okay, I am good enough to do this thing. Like, I'm obviously, like, I think I'm okay, but they think I'm good enough to be on their show. That's but then, the nerves that we mentioned right at the start, like, then the nerves are it's not necessarily being in front of a crowd, it's you're in front of this new promoter. Are you going to do what they want? Is what you do going to fit their brand, their style, what their crowds kind of expect from their wrestlers? But that's what makes wrestling so good.
It's
That's what makes it so fun as a wrestler.
Yeah, the unknown, the excitement, the pressure, but in a good way. Like I said, being able to rise to the occasion, kind of thing. You mentioned Mega Slam. I've just clocked the time, dude. I won't get you too much. Sorry, dude. I've just kind of.
I don't mind, mate.
Sweet. Mega Slam. I know when I was talking to Franco, he credited Mega Slam hugely, with like his development. Just how quickly. He progressed and how good he became over a small period of time. He put that down to like, the Mega Slam, the repetitions, getting the laps in basically. How do you find it?
Yeah, really enjoyed every match I had at Mega Slam. I didn't work there as regularly as Franco, but I can recount pretty much learning something in every match that I've had there. It's the only time I've ever wrestled Styx, who was my main trainer. And I'll peel back the curtain a bit with this, but like one of my favorite moments was we were at a show somewhere, and it was the second time me and Styx had wrestled, which is the only two times, and I think we were on third, and the two matches that had gone out before came back and were like, crowd's a bit dead, which is a bit weird for a Mega Slam show because normally they're well up for it, and we were like, okay, right, we'll go out there, and we did some bits, and then Styx just kept talking to me and was changing stuff, or making stuff take longer, and then we got to the back end, and they were there. They were just in the palm of our hands, and we went back and we were like, well, I didn't, because I'm not like I'm not the kind of regular worker there, but Styx was like, dude, that crowd's great. Like, don't know what you're talking about. I'm just there like, yeah, that was really cool.
Let the big man do the talking. Yeah, let the big man do the talking.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Awesome, but that's again, that's that kind of sense of the excitement before the match, but then you got that sense of accomplishment after it, kind of thing. And as you sort of said, being able to call. That's what guys like Styx can do. They can do the audible stuff in the ring. They can feed off of an audience. They can sense in a second what's working, what's not working. Right, okay, we'll do this instead. And just see what the fans latch onto. Even like just a fan moving in the seat and leaning forward a little bit. They'll be like, right, got you. Right, that's what they want. Right, we'll do this. That's the kind of stuff. That's what amazes me most out of everything. Just that ability to read people and read an audience, and it's just improvisation at the top level.
When I try and explain it to people that like people that don't follow wrestling, don't watch wrestling or like wrestling, but ask me about it, and I try to explain it to them, and they don't, sometimes they don't quite understand. So I'm like, imagine you go and watch a band, and based on the music, based on how the crowd reacts to their to what they're playing, they literally carry on writing a song in real time that works on how they, like, the crowd start to move around a bit, so they speed up, and the crowd are circle pitting, and then the crowd start to get a bit tired of the circle pit, so they put in a breakdown, and like they're writing a song in real time based on how the audience is reacting, and then they seem to get it a little more, and then they're like, wow. And you're doing that whilst putting on a live fight show with all four sides being seen, and you're not hurting each other. Like, yeah, that's pro wrestling. It's fucking great, isn't it? Like, do you get it now? Do you get why I like it?
You get the energy. It's like, yes, that's it. That is, mate, that is perfect. I just think that is the perfect way of, mate, you're coming out with some fucking mint analogies tonight, with the whole sort of like fucking, just the songwriting, adding the lyrics to commentary, that listing that. I could clip this whole episode and just be like, right, Wrestling 101. If you don't know wrestling, watch this. Watch Wrestling 101. Brad Matthews, class dismissed. Jobs are good.
Oh, thank you very much.
I can't even top that. So I am going to admit defeat. I think that's the perfect way to end our discussion. Obviously, let people know where they can follow you on the socials. Keep an eye on what you're doing, and basically, if you're at a show, come show some support.
Yeah. So I am on Facebook, Brad Matthews, but make sure it's me. Don't follow the wedding. You can follow Brad Matthews, the wedding singer, if you like. It's probably very good. But yeah, it's the guy with the long hair that looks a bit angry. That's me. So, and then on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads, Brad Matthews HC, which stands for hardcore, not human celebrant.
yeah, not human centipede.
No.
Yeah. Obviously, we'll tag you in as well anyway. So, when this gets on socials, when I share the episodes, if you're not following Brad, please hit that follow button. As I said, if he's on a show near you, go check it out. Obviously, you can find us on Instagram. My man Ash runs that. It's WTLS316. And over on Twitter, that's me. That is WTLS420. And yeah, you know, hopefully you're already following us, but if you're not, hit follow, share. With this episode as well, obviously, you know, thank you for watching. Hit like, subscribe, share, comments. Leave me some comments. I want to talk to people in the comments. I want to know what you liked, what you didn't like, who you want to see. And if you say Sash, you know, I'm sure he can come back on again. He can talk. That was the most one-sided episode I've ever done on here. I literally just sat there for about 45 minutes being insulted.
He's got a belt on him, hasn't he? He's got so much as big as his wallet.
Dude, I can't. This house, it's unreal. Brandon was saying, you know, he went past his house. It's just like, wow, the dude's just like, you got to respect the man. You know, he's made the money, and he's living the lifestyle. So fair play. Yeah. But no, thank you so much, dude, for joining me. And yeah, it's been awesome, mate. Thank you.
It's been my pleasure. If you want me on again at some point down the road, give me a ring. Like, you could just message me. But yeah,
I'll send it. Yeah, I'll definitely. I'll call you on that now, because obviously a few months down the line, you know, you've been back, you smashed up a True Grit. You know, hopefully, you know, like I say, you, Sash and Franco running Rough Shot. I just want to see you three guys just freaking. I love factions in wrestling. There's not enough of them in British wrestling for me. So I want to see like just a faction of 3 or 4 people. Get one more person, and I just want to see you and Hellbound tear it up all over the shop. I mentioned Alton Thorne. I just want to shout out Alton. I know, not a good idea, but yeah, I want to see you guys against Hellbound everywhere.
Yeah, I'd kick his head in anywhere. All 4 of them.
There you go. You see, I'm just trying to get you guys bookings.
He deserves a slap round face. Once upon a time, I was in a match against her, and I went up to the top rope and she pulled me off, and I've never been able to get any revenge on her. So, pissed me off,
dude. I mean, I've got to say, is she not on the True Grit poster for York? I want to say Harley's on that poster as well. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check that. I can remember she's on a poster recently that I saw. So there you go. You might if it is the True Grit one, good. You know, Payback's
maybe I'll just smack her in face backstage in locker room. Well, no, I can't, because it's a separate one. I'll find her when she's walking in through a corridor. Have that.
It'll be like youth all over again, because it'd been in the school. Quick side note before, sorry, mate. Like, if nobody's been to a True Grit York show, it's in a school. And it's the weirdest freaking things. Like, you know, at intermission when you're going for like a freaking piss or something, walking through like a school corridor and going to, like, you know, it's like being back a kid again. Like, oh, I just need to go to the toilet. I feel like I need to put my hand up. Can I go for a wee, please?
Yeah.
Or I'm sneaking off outside and having a cheeky cig. I'm looking for the bike sheds to go stand behind.
Yeah, it's weird. You expect a teacher to come around and bollock you, like, what are you wearing? Yeah.
Just like, as soon as anybody walks past, I would just like, want me? No, we're good. Dude, thank you so much. And yeah, I will hold you to that, and we'll get you back on it. So yeah, Brad, been an absolute star, mate. Thank you.
See you later.
In a bit.